Hey there, mama friend, and welcome to the 5-Minute Mom podcast, where we'll talk about real life, real faith, real fast. For today's show notes or to get free Monday Mom devotionals, visit audrahaney.com.
Hey Audra, thanks so much for allowing me this opportunity to dive in to what God's teaching me about kindness. I'll be honest, at first I was flattered and then challenged and then humbled. The first thing God taught me right away was that it wasn't my kindness that you were noticing, that was God's, because by nature, I'm sinful. I'm a self-centered person who prefers my comfort over my kindness. And while I'm a nice person, I'm pleasing, and I'm a pleasant to be around. Kindness it's a friendly, generous, considerate quality. And if I'm being really honest, I'm not that all the time. And I am intrigued by the lasting impressions of the models that we had in our formative years, that they had on us, like our parents, our grandparents, those who raised us. And I know that so much of what I do as an adult stems from what I observed as a child in my home. And fortunately for me, I know this isn't always the case. I had two parents who displayed their kindness to us, my brothers and I, who did not deserve it all the time, and others regularly. But there are a few instances that stick out to me the most, and those instances were when the kindness my parents showed was not deserved on the other end. And as a kid, this confused me, it angered me, it hurt me to watch them sacrifice because it was painful for them. But I think that's the kindness that Paul's referring to when he talks about the fruit of the Spirit. It's easy to be kind to those who are kind. But when kindness is undeserved or it makes us uncomfortable, we really do need to rely upon the Holy Spirit for strength. And in my family, in my marriage, in parenting, God has been teaching me a few other things that I'd like to share. The first one is that kindness needs to be modeled, both taught and shown in our home. We, as Christ followers, we have the greatest model of kindness through the works and the ministry of Jesus Christ. We could spend so much time just talking about the kindness that he portrayed in his life. Off the top of my head, I think about the Pharisees who talked to him in a way where they tried to trap him and he knew it, yet he spoke to them in kindness. I think of Peter, who doubted over and over and over again, yet Jesus was kind to him. And Judas, who he knew was going to betray him and sell him out and ultimately lead him to his death, he allowed to be in his inner circle. What a model of kindness. So we need to be able to model that kind of kindness in our home. We have two kids. One's 4 and one's 9. And with our 4-year-old, he's young. So we're teaching him how to be kind. We're talking about sharing and saying the things that are helpful and not hurtful. But with our 9-year-old, we are getting more opportunities to actually show her what that looks like, because she now understands when it's deserved and when it's undeserved. And I'm finding more and more opportunities to do that. And sometimes I'm successful and sometimes I fail miserably. And that's when I have to humble myself to show her and model how to ask for an apology, which is a whole other podcast. But another thing God has taught me about kindness is that it is free, but sacrificial kindness requires strength and courage sometimes. I've been blessed to be married to a man 16 years who loves the Lord more than he loves me, and I'm 100% okay with that. He has a very kind soul. And even though we love each other more than any earthly human or thing, we are not perfect and we are not always kind to each other. And I know in a lot of marriages that is the case, and it takes a lot of strength to be kind to a spouse that may not return the kindness or accept the kindness or even deserve the kindness that we want to show. But God's teaching me that it's not my job to get that person in my life, whether it's my husband or my children or someone else in the community. It's not my job to get them to accept or return my kindness. It's not even my job to judge whether they deserve my kindness, but it is only required of me that I obey God and extend that kindness. And then finally, I'm learning that I need to be proactive in seeking out the strength for that sacrificial fruit of the Spirit of kindness. And this means that in my morning time, in my quiet time when I'm praying, in addition to those things that I feel like naturally pop up in our mind. God, give me joy today, give me peace, give me patience with my children, self-control. I also need to ask for the power of the Holy Spirit to give me the strength and ability to be kind to those I encounter that day who might not deserve it, whether they're in my home or they're in my community, and that I would extend that kindness with godly intentions, not so that I would be revered as kind or even nice, but that they would see Christ in all that I say and I do.
So that's the end of our 5 minutes. Please tune in again soon. If you want to learn more about me or sign up for the podcast newsletter or get a free devotional, visit audrahaney.com. And if you enjoyed this, would you please leave a quick review? Reviews are so important for podcasters, and it helps more moms find us, and it would be a great blessing.